is Madison Moon, and I'm back with another book video. Tonight's book video is going to be books that I read during fall this year, 2022. I read slower than normal, so usually I would have like an early fall video and then a late fall video, but it is currently November 6th, I believe. Early November. And I spent a lot of my free time playing Dreamlight Valley on Nintendo Switch, so I was a little behind in my reading this season. So I have a decent amount of books though to show you, so I'm going to talk about those here shortly. But before we get into books, I would like to go ahead and thank the sponsor for tonight's video, Rose Forever New York. And they were so gracious to send me these absolutely beautiful and tingly preserved roses. And it comes in this beautiful velvet box. And they are roses, real roses, that have been preserved for up to a year. And I picked the baby blue ones. And they're beautiful and they smell so good. They use natural oils to preserve them. They're also allergen free, so in case you have any sensitivities. But aren't they beautiful? And I think they make a lovely, almost crinkly sound. And the velvet box I think is very tingly too. From the date of this video, for the entire month, you can get $25 off any purchase on their website. It's roseforever.com, and you can use the code Madison25, and I will put all the info in the description box below. They smell amazing. They're beautiful, and I think I will try to find a spot for them on my bookshelf because I think they're just absolutely beautiful. You can really tell that they put quality into making these like very clean looking, but very, very pretty. I love the sound of velvet boxes too. It's like a nice deep tapping sound. They have different colored boxes too, and a ton of different colors of roses, so definitely check them out. Again, it's roseforever.com. Alright, let's get into tonight's book video. Okay, so first on the docket for tonight is The Nightingale by Kristin. And I absolutely fell in love with The Great Alone by Kristin. And I bought this pretty much immediately after finishing that one because I was just blown away by that book. And then I was really nervous to read it because I was like, there's no way I'm gonna like it as much as The Great Alone. If you've watched my other videos, you know how much I love that book. But anyways, The Nightingale. You guys told me that I was was gonna cry, and I was like, I won't cry, I'll be fine. I made it until the end, okay? I made it until the end. And then I lost my absolute shit. Excuse my language. I was not okay after finishing this book. It was so good. Oh my god, it was so good. And I know that a lot is packed into this book that, like, realistically couldn't take place, even though this is historical fiction. Let me explain. This book is about World War II, and it's about Nazi-occupied France. And it's supposed to take place in this pretty small French town. And realistically, all of these absolutely, like, catastrophic events would not take place in this tiny town. It's just, it's a lot. Kristin writes to make people emotional, so, you know, it makes sense. However, I don't care. I do not care, okay? This book was phenomenal. The women in it, the two main character women, were different enough and just incredibly written. Their difference of personalities, these two sisters, was phenomenal. I loved the dive into their character development individually. It's so good. It is so good. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't want to read this at first, not only because I was afraid it wouldn't live up to the hype. Well, I wanted to read it, but I was nervous to pick it up. But I also didn't really think I would be that interested in the World War II stuff, war stuff. It's sad, and it's a terrible part of humanity, and so but it's hard for me to want to read about that. So anyways, I am so glad I read this book. So thank you to everyone that pushed me to read this book, because it was phenomenal. Kristin, I just loved her. I just ordered The Four Winds, so I'll be reading that soon. But yeah, it's so good. Highly recommend. You will cry. Pretty much, I think, if you read any Kristin book, but like, you feel like you needed it. So, I know her writing isn't for everybody. I personally love her writing. And I'm also glad that I read it before it's being made into a movie. So I'm glad I actually read it before it was made into a movie, or is going to be made into a movie. Phenomenal. So anyways, okay, next is another one that, in my opinion, was highly anticipated, especially if you already read this author's other work. So I've talked at length about the Poppy War series by R.F. I always think I need to remember to pronounce her last name. Kuang. I don't know her last name. Her. The Poppy War trilogy is one of my favorite series of all time. It's so good, and this was her next standalone book. I struggled with this one, and the reason being, oh, by the way, it's called Babel, an Arcane History. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a magical realism historical fiction book, and it's basically about students at Oxford University, and it has basically this aspect of the university that's magical realism, but for the most part, otherwise it's just historical fiction. But it's a pretty big part of it. But I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm trying to gingerly dance around how to explain this synopsis. I felt like it was kind of boring, and that was just my opinion. I love her writing, and I'll continue to read her books for sure. She's extremely talented. She's super young. She went to Oxford so she definitely like put a lot of that into the story. But I just felt like it was kind of boring. I don't know. It didn't grip me. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about this one. I think I rated it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. I don't really remember. You kind of just like see where it's going. And I don't know. None of the characters really stuck out to me. I don't know. But I think it has a very unique story. I just don't know if it was developed enough, in my opinion. I have noticed that there's a definite colonialism theme with her books, which is interesting. I wonder if she's going to keep having that be a central theme of her books. Okay, next is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. Love Silvia Moreno-Garcia. This was my least favorite book. I should say in this video there's a few that I wasn't like too thrilled with that I read recently, books in general. This book was extremely boring to me. I did not like this book, I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, love her writing. This book was so boring. I struggled to get through this book personally. There wasn't anything unique about it that stood out about it. It felt very much like a watered down version of something that she would write. And it just, I saw where it was going. I don't know, it just wasn't very good in my opinion. It is basically about the daughter of a scientist, Dr. Moreau, who they live in like remote Mexico, and they have like a laboratory out there, and they have, I don't want to spoil anything, test subjects, no, that's not the right word. Creatures, I'll just leave it at that. They have creatures that they, do experiments on. I don't want to spoil anything. It's just, I didn't really feel like there was much to this story. I didn't really feel like there was a story, it was, I don't know, just nothing really to write home about, so. It was fine, just like I said, nothing special. It falls under the science fiction category, I think, and like historical fiction, but because there are some factual things that are taking place during the time, because it's set in, when is it set? 19th century, so there's some realistic things going on in the story, but anyways, it's just, in my opinion, just not her best work, but I think for me it's really hard to live up to the Gods of Jade and Shadow, because that's just my favorite book by her. Okay, next is a book I literally just finished, Eye for Eye, which is book 1 of the Italian series by J.K. Franko. This was good. I immediately ordered, it's a trilogy, I think. I ordered the next 2. It's a mystery thriller. It's got a unique storytelling sense because it doesn't really explain when it's jumping back in between. It doesn't make it clear necessarily when it's jumping in between who's narrating, basically. And there's this mystery first-person perspective that's kind of like mixed into the story. So it was interesting, uniquely written. I think the story was interesting. It's basically about, again, so hard to describe books without giving away too much, but let me see, how do I explain it? A husband and wife lose their child in a preventable accident, situation of revenge. I'll leave it at that. But it's very good, and it had some twists and connections that like I didn't necessarily see coming, or like I thought I had an idea but didn't. And I was surprised that it was going to continue to go on. I don't know how it's going to go on in a series, but I am interested because they never really uncover who the first person is. Really, I mean, they kind of do, but anyways. If you like mystery and thrillers, you'll like this one, I think. My only complaint is that it was written by a male author, and his description of women versus how he describes men was a little iffy. In fact, he, on I think at least 2 occasions, referred to as a woman who was overweight as chunky, which in my opinion is not an appropriate way to describe anybody. So anyways, but overall, it was a good book. I thought the story was pretty cool, and it's a fun, fast-paced thriller that truly is a page-turner, so I really liked it. I think I rated it 4 out of 5. Just some of the writing was kind of like silly, but it's good. Although the main woman in the story I absolutely hate with every fiber of my being. So okay, next is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I think that's how you say her last name. This was a weird book. I'm just gonna say that. A very, very weird book. Not only is her writing style very weird, there's a lot of incomplete sentences. So I had to get used to that while reading it. But even the way she describes stuff is odd. I'm not even sure how to summarize this book, if I'm being honest. This book is about so many things. I'm just going to list off the things that it is about. Native Americans, COVID, the Black Lives Matter movement, and that kind of time where there was the crossover between that and COVID. It's a ghost story also. It's one of the weirdest books I've ever read, and I still don't know what to think about it, frankly. It was described as funny. I didn't think it was a funny book, personally. I don't know. It's a weird one. If you've read this book, please comment below and validate my feelings about what an odd book this was. I don't know. It was weird. It is one that kind of stuck with me though, because like I can't stop thinking about just how much was packed into this book. There was some just strange stuff in here, but anyways, it was okay. I don't know if her writing style is for me personally. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't read another one of her books, but this one was just very odd. And I know a lot of people criticized it for talking about COVID, but I mean, we have to talk about it, you know? People aren't just gonna pretend it didn't. Every author's not gonna just pretend it didn't happen, so that didn't bother me. Maybe if I'd read this like 2 years ago when we were in the midst of a pandemic, I might be like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. But whatever. I thought it was fine. So, the thing I did like about this book is that I don't know a lot about Native American indigenous culture. And that's because I'm American, and we tend to, in schools, in education, we whitewash the crap out of our history and make us seem like the good guys. So I don't know a ton about Native American history and culture and things like that, so I learned a lot, and that really, to me, was my favorite part about this book, because it was weaved into just the character background and their stories, so I thought that was pretty cool. The main character was an odd duck, though. I didn't know what to think about her. Okay, next. Man, this go around I read a lot of books that I just was not blown away by. Really, the best one that I read was The Nightingale. say it. This was really bad. Okay? Like, really bad. I've never read a Nora Roberts book ever, and people were talking. This is so highly rated on Goodreads, mind you. Go look at it. It's insane. This was a piece of garbage, and I stand by that, and I will fight over that. This was the most cliche book ever. I don't know if she just can't write fantasy. I'm also pretty hard on fantasy because I think there's a lot of cliches and tropes that are just rewritten and regurgitated over and over and over again. She managed to do all of that within this book. This is The Awakening, and it's the first book of the Dragonheart Legacy series by Nora Roberts. This felt like a young adult book, but like in all the worst ways. I just did not like it. There were so many cliches about Ireland, about just fantasy in general. The dialogue. The most atrocious thing about this book, frankly, is the way that she wrote the gay man best friend in this. Absolutely horribly cliched. And I know Nora Roberts is older, so like, I get it. It was bad. It was so bad. The dialogue was so cheesy in this book. I'm honestly shocked that I finished it, but I just felt like I had to finish it because I review books here. So, anyways, I don't recommend this one. It's really corny, and like I said, this is the only Nora Roberts books I've ever read because she just doesn't write books that I'm really interested in. She's kind of like the old school, like romance, grocery store section romance book person. But this was rough. So, anyways, I like forgot about how bad this book was, and I was like thinking about it. This is probably the hardest I've ever been on a book in my videos. Usually I'm kind of just like whatever, but this one was just really disappointing for me. So, let me know what you think if you've read this. If you liked it, I'm not coming at you. Everybody has their own interests and taste, you know. It's just personally not for me. And like I said, I'm very critical of fantasy. And she should stay in her lane. Okay, last but not least is The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake. I did not like this book. Again, I told you I had a lot of books in this video I didn't like, or thought were okay. I didn't like any of the characters in this book. They were all terrible. Nothing really happened in this book. It was confusing and boring somehow. It felt so pretentious. That's what I'll say about this book. If you haven't seen this book, I'm surprised because I feel like it's like been on Book Talk for a long time, and I had it on my shelf forever, and I just didn't read it because I didn't know when the second one was gonna come out, and I typically try to wait to start a series until I know at least that the second one will be out soon, because I hate starting series and then having to wait like a year for the next one. I won't be reading the second one. I did not like this book. It was extremely pretentious. If you've read it, let me know if you agree. The writing was so cheesy, and the characters were just purely pretentious, elitist. Like saying deep things that were not deep at all. I struggled to get through this one too. And what sucks about that is that the premise of this book is so cool. So basically this book is about this very secret, it's a secret society basically, of a place that holds all of the knowledge, a lot of like secret knowledge, a lot of old, very rare books. And the society is called the Alexandrian Society. I think that's Alexandrian Society. And to get in, you have to be some of the top, like magical people in the world. So you are like recruited, and it's like a whole thing. And so it kind of hones in on, I think it's 6 different people, 6 different recent recruits. And basically like schooling and education for a while until they're like officially in this society. I just the story itself could have been so cool because she had all the right elements. I think it's a woman who wrote it. She had all the right elements of like a really, really cool, like advanced like Harry Potter, but I don't know, it just did not impress me at all. And like I said, like all the characters were terrible to me, and it was extremely pretentious and just boring, frankly. I feel like she didn't like elaborate on the parts that could have been interesting. I don't know. So anyways, yeah, let me know what you thought of this book. Like I said, this was a really popular viral book, so I feel like a lot of people have read it. So if you've read it, I'm curious about what your thoughts are. Again, everyone has their own opinion states, so it's okay if you disagree with me. I feel like I've done no page flipping in this video. My apologies. I've been gone for a little bit. I think I haven't had a video go live in like 2 weeks. I just needed a break. I was feeling a little burnt out, and I feel better now that I took that little break. So again, if you're here, thank you for being here. I am so, so grateful for all the wonderful things that you guys say. I screenshot a lot of the really kind things that you guys say, so that when I'm feeling low, I can go back and read them and remind myself that there are people that really, really like these videos, and that means so much to me, because books are like one of my lifelong passions, and sharing that with you has made it like even more